Let's be honest. If I asked you to picture the purest, most innocent, most aggressively adorable animal on planet Earth, your brain would probably autoplay a montage of otters. You know the clips. You've seen them on TikTok. They're floating on their backs, holding little hands so they don't drift apart in the current. They're massaging their cheeks to keep warm. They're juggling shiny rocks like little circus performers. They look like river puppies or water cats that just want a belly rub and a snack. The internet has convinced you that the otter is the ultimate symbol of joy. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Actually, who am I kidding? I love ruining your childhood. That cuteness? It's a lie. It is a biological mask evolved to let them get away with murder, quite literally. In reality, otters are the absolute delinquents of the animal kingdom. We are talking about creatures that wake up, choose violence, and then go back to sleep. They are the Black Air Force Ones of the aquatic world. If you think I'm exaggerating, buckle up, because by the end of this video, you won't see a cute furry friend. You'll see a high-functioning sociopath with waterproof fur. Before we get into their crimes, we have to understand why they are like this. It comes down to biology. Most marine mammals, like seals or whales, have a thick layer of blubber to keep them warm. Otters don't. They rely entirely on their incredibly dense fur, the densest in the animal kingdom, and a metabolism that runs hotter than a nuclear reactor. To stay alive in cold water, an otter needs to consume about 25% to 30% of its body weight in food every single day. Imagine a 180-pound human needing to eat 50 pounds of steak just to survive until tomorrow. This means otters aren't just hungry, they are in a permanent state of hangry, hungry plus angry. They are constantly one missed meal away from starvation. And when an animal lives on that razor's edge, it doesn't have time for morality. It doesn't have time for playing nice. It only has time for the hunt. This metabolic drive turns them into ruthless, hyper-aggressive energy machines. Let's start in the jungle. Meet the giant river otter, Pteronura brasiliensis. And when I say giant, I'm not talking about a slightly larger beagle. I'm talking about a 6-foot-long muscular torpedo that can weigh as much as a fully grown human. In the Amazon, the locals don't call them water puppies. They call them lobos de rio, river wolves. And frankly, that's insulting to wolves, because wolves are usually nicer. Giant river otters are the apex predators of their domain. But unlike solitary hunters, they operate like a militarized street gang. They live in large, extended families, and their communication is terrifyingly complex. They have distinct vocalizations for danger, attack, and all clear. When you think of the Amazon, you think of the jaguar as the king, right? Or maybe the black caiman, that prehistoric alligator monster. Well, here is a reality check. Jaguars and caimans actively avoid giant otters. There is documented footage of giant otter gangs spotting a caiman resting on a bank. Instead of fleeing, they crash out. They swarm. They attack from all angles, biting the caiman's tail and legs to exhaust it, dragging it into the deep water where it drowns, and then eating it alive, piece by piece, while the rest of the family watches and screams. And that sound? It's not a cute squeak. It's a wavering, high-pitched scream that sounds like a banshee. If you hear that noise in the Amazon, you aren't about to see a Disney movie. You're about to witness a mob hit. Okay, I hear you saying. That's the Amazon. The jungle is scary. But what about the sea otters, the ones in California that float on their backs and crack open clams? Surely they are the good guys. Wrong. Those might actually be the worst ones. Sea otters are the inventors of the aquatic protection racket. Because their metabolism is so demanding, they cannot afford to lose a meal. This desperation leads to behavior that can only be described as straight-up extortion. Let's talk about the kidnapping. Male sea otters are significantly larger than females. When food is scarce, a male otter won't go hunt for himself. No, that takes too much energy. Instead, he will scout for a female who has a pup. He will rush in, grab the baby, and drag it underwater or hold it by the throat. He isn't trying to eat the baby, he's holding it hostage. He waits for the mother to resurface with a clam or a crab. The deal is simple and brutal. Give me the food, and the kid lives. The mother, desperate to save her offspring, will hand over her hard-earned meal. The male takes the food and releases the pup. It is classic mafia blackmail. "Nice kid you got there. Would be a shame if he stopped breathing." And it's not just babies. They steal from each other constantly. This is a phenomenon called kleptoparasitism. If an otter works hard to crack open a tough shell, another otter will just swim by and mug him. It's a society built on theft. But what about the hand-holding? That has to be love, right? Well, functionally, it's a survival anchor. They hold hands, a behavior called rafting, so they don't drift out to the open ocean while they sleep and get eaten by orcas or sharks. It's less, "I love you," and more, "I don't want to die alone." And the rock juggling? You've seen the videos of them tossing pebbles back and forth. It looks like they are training for the circus. Scientists have studied this. It turns out this behavior spikes when they are hungry. It's not a game. It's the equivalent of a human pacing back and forth or tapping their foot when they are anxious and starving. They are fidgeting because they want to kill something but can't find it yet. We need to talk about their love life. And I'm going to keep this YouTube friendly, but I need you to understand that otter mating is not a scene from The Notebook. It is a scene from Saw. Otter reproduction is incredibly violent. The males have zero chill. To secure a mate, a male sea otter will bite down onto the female's nose and latch on. He uses her face as a handle to drag her into position. He often holds her head underwater for extended periods. The mortality rate for female otters during mating is shockingly high. In fact, biologists can identify older, experienced female otters just by looking at their faces. If their nose is scarred, pink, raw, or missing chunks of flesh, that's a survivor. This aggression is so hardwired into them that it sometimes spills over onto other species. There have been recorded cases, and this is truly dark, of male sea otters attacking, drowning, and attempting to mate with baby harbor seals. The seals do not survive the encounter. It is a case of biological wires getting crossed in the most horrific way possible. To be fair to the otter, they are geniuses. Evil geniuses, but geniuses nonetheless. They are one of the few animals on Earth that use tools. They will find a favorite rock that they keep for their entire lives. And where do they keep it? They have a literal pocket of loose skin under their armpit. They store snacks and their smashing rock in this armpit purse. They know exactly which shells are too hard to bite and which need the hammer. This intelligence makes them formidable. They remember faces. They learn routines. In some aquariums, otters have learned how to dismantle their tank filtration systems just because they were bored. So why do we owe the world an apology for calling them cute? Because by reducing them to plush toys, we ignore what they really are. Supreme survivors. They have bounced back from near extinction, caused by humans wanting their fur, to reclaim the rivers and coasts. They fight crocodiles. They run protection rackets. They turn rocks into weapons. They eat 25% of their weight in pure meat every day just to keep the engine running. The next time you scroll past a video of an otter looking adorable, just remember the context. That cute squeak might be a war cry. That hand-holding is a survival tactic. And that face? That's the face of a creature that would absolutely rob you if you were a clam. Are they cute? Yes, indisputably. But it's the kind of cute you should admire from very, very far away, preferably behind reinforced glass. Because if you were a fish, crab, or a baby seal, the otter wouldn't be a cute meme. It would be the monster under your bed. Thanks for watching.